Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Hedger, and I'm the Digital Innovation Principal at Ampersand Consulting. Welcome to another edition of the Product Organizational Maturity Series. Today, I'm going to talk about how your organization is your ultimate product, but the Feature Factory edition. And don't forget to like and share on YouTube or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, let's get going, shall we? Oh dear, the Feature Factory circus is in town. Well, what does that mean? First off, you might recognize some of the things going on in this Feature Factory circus, and we're going to take a look at those in just a few moments. This might not describe you. Perhaps you're more product led. Wonderful. But there could be some pieces here that could be of use to you. So let's take a look and see what some of these features are. First off, are you juggling a bunch of features and shipping a lot of things very quickly? Wonderful. But what are you shipping and what is the quality of that? Are you actually solving problems for your customers? So think about that and maybe in your mind, are you more shipping features and do you really do have a good game plan? Something to consider, right? So this young lady standing on this tightrope represents ignoring customer feedback. You're walking along, you're creating great things, but somehow along the way, the customer's voice has gone silent or has been ignored or might be missing, or maybe it's just not as much of a priority. So that could be a real signal that there's something going on in the overall system in your product organization. Definitely something to pay attention to. All right. Oh my goodness. So, tech debt. Doesn't that sometimes feel like there's a fire breathing dragon right there in your organization, just creating all kinds of confusion and piling up of debt on top of systems and really slowing things down? Yet, how do you get out of that cycle? Well, if you've got a lot of technical debt, it might be a clue that perhaps you've been building so quickly that you haven't had time to spend on the efficiencies and the effectivenesses of the systems that you're building out the features for. So I would encourage you to tame the dragon a bit and think how you might be getting out of that technical debt trap and have a regular game plan for that, right? Oh my goodness, there's a tiger coming at you. Are you having the corporate version of fear of missing out? Meaning you're looking at what your competition's doing and you're thinking, hey, I should be doing that. Why aren't we doing that? That could be an indicator that you're feeling a lot of pressure, that you're thinking about what you need to catch up doing versus where you can be on that leading edge. That could be an indication that you are in a competition driven development cycle. This could come from a variety of reasons. Maybe you're getting ideas that are coming from sales or marketing or your leadership team, and product has somehow been involved, but is perhaps not seen as doing it fast enough, being more innovative. Here's a gap that you can fill. That's a good thing to pay attention to. Oh my goodness. So imagine you're shipping and delivering things really rapidly. You're running out of what you feel like time and daylight to find out what's going on with your customers. And so you're missing out on that voice. And your team is frazzled. They're, burning the candle at both ends, and suddenly they've all turned to these cute little fuzzy blue monsters and are, they're burnt out, they're tired, and their morale is just not where you want that to be. This could be an indicator that something's up. It could be that you're living in a feature factory where you want to have more engagement in strategy and the direction in which product is going, but perhaps you're being pulled in so many directions with so many ideas coming at you that you need to tamp down that chaos, right? Don't despair. All of these are indicators that there's something concrete that you're paying attention to and something could be up. And it's an important opportunity to pause yourself and your team and take a look around and think through what might be happening. There's always a way to improve it, even if you can improve one piece of that and you're living in a situation where you are getting a lot of input from other places. Start somewhere and begin capturing back your space at that table. So, I challenge you to think about how you can view your product organization as your most important product. Let's pause here for a moment. As product organization leaders and product managers, you know that you're responsible for that strategy, understanding the customer voice, and then figuring out a path forward to solve those problems. If you apply that same thinking and that same expertise and look inward at your team and your organization and how product engages in your overall business, you may find some very interesting facts there. By applying your understanding, you'll be able to figure out if you really are crawling, walking, running, and hey, if you're soaring and flying where you're on the leading edge, you've got best in class leadership, you're data driven, you're able to automate some of the challenging pieces that just get in the way from being strategic and thoughtful, and you're able to adapt, then come on over. Let's join in that conversation and help our colleagues who are crawling, walking, and running. If you're managing at the project level, you might be being confused as project managers. So there's some things to think about there, how to increase that product voice. So if you're crawling, it means there's a lot of reactivity going on. Maybe your processes are not very standardized, and you really haven't had an opportunity to um, get standard, like I said, around how you're doing your planning, how you're organizing your teams. So there could be some things that just need a little tweaking, or maybe some major overhauling. At any rate, I encourage you to think of this model as a way to determine where you may have opportunities, what you aspire to be, and think about ways to get from here to there as you would in developing your product roadmap as well. Think about your product organization on its own roadmap, which segues nicely into what are the things you would consider in terms of the organizational maturity for product? Well, as I see it, there's 5 elements that are really crucial. First off, data and how you're using that. Are you data driven? Are you consistent? Are you getting the right kinds of data? That's really crucial in how you would determine on the right hand side your strategy that informs how you put the plan together and build out your roadmaps. I also want you to look at the 3 other elements here that are key. They're kind of your back office components. So operations is around how are you going through the processes and practices that your team uses to go from idea all the way through to deployment and maintenance in your product lifecycle. Another piece of this, how are you structured? Is your team small and there's several other teams that are similar, and so they're all parts of the product life cycle? What does that look like, and what's the best way to organize that for your company to be effective? And then the secret sauce, I believe, is in the people and the culture. Do you have good job descriptions? If so, are there career paths? If there's career paths, do people feel like there's a future for them? Also, thinking about how you work together and how you believe things get done and what you value in terms of being a team. That's your culture. All of that comes together with the data and the strategy, your operations and your design to give you a picture of how mature your organization might be. I think this is a very useful way and a lens to think about this. When you discover you may be sitting in a feature factory and there's a lot going on, you can begin to settle the chaos and focus on some areas that begin to help people be proactive and less reactive and be more valued in terms of the rest of the organization and how they view product. All right, so want to break that down just a little bit more. When you think about creating a roadmap for your product organization, it's been very similar practices to looking at launching a new product or putting enhancements on an existing product. You're going to go to your customers and do some research. In this case, that's your team and the people that they interact with on a regular basis. Maybe understand what some of the dynamics are that are going on. That'll give you some clues. Then you'll have an idea if you have gaps, you'll have an idea of what your strengths are. And based on that, you can narrow in on some very important and strategic actions you as a leader and as the team can do to improve how you're performing, to improve how you are engaging in the organization, and removing roadblocks for yourself so you can be more effective and have more work-life balance. Have processes that are aligned and not, multiple processes do the same thing. So I would encourage you to think about your organization as having a roadmap of its own so that you can improve on it and improve what product delivers as a result. All right, I want to spend a few moments here looking at some of the material that will give you the criteria to know if you're in a mature organization or not. Now, as you can see, there's 7 of them on here. A couple of things go together. For example, product strategy and alignment, that can be based on your research initially or market responsiveness. There's a lot of interaction here. Team collaboration and communication. Again, that goes back to your culture and how you're structured. Are you a customer-centric organization? If you're getting the right kinds of data and the feedback and you're able to make decisions based on that data, then you're going to be able to deliver what the customer is looking for. Again, another piece to think about is how effective and efficient are you? And are you being innovative? Or are you just sending out features because you feel pressure to have more features because there's a lot of people asking you where are the new features? Um, this really can be a way of putting a template on what's going on in those 5 different areas. So your data, your strategy, your org design, your people and culture, and your operations. All right. Well, now that I've given you some ideas, let's reflect a minute about that feature factory. Do you feel like you're in that cycle and you're trapped in the feature factory? Some of the initial symptoms that you may notice are your purpose is not very clear. You feel like you're doing a lot of work, but just busy work, and maybe you're not, really being effective. And there's a lot of effort going into sending out a bunch of features. And maybe your team is just dragging. There's just some underlying malaise there in terms of their morale and how they feel about whether or not they're valued or even being productive. So pay attention. And if you notice this, it's time to pause with your team and reflect. Maybe spend some time thinking that through. You can break free from this cycle. You may not be able to improve everything, but you can improve something or a few things. And to that end, put your product hat on and think about how is my organization from a product lens? How is it functioning well? What does that look like? And then find some continuous improvement opportunities that over time, as you get better, this also will, through that, deliver that customer value because your team is being leveled up and they're in a better space and they feel more engaged. All right. Are you ready to roar? Do you want to find the best way forward? Do you need a thought partner who can help you think through all of the various challenges you might be feeling? Well, you're not alone, and I am willing to sit down with you and spend some time talking through what that could look like. And then perhaps there's some things that you can put in place to reduce that feature factory chaos and get out of that circus tent. I'd love to figure out how to unleash your team's potential with you. So if you'd like to reach out on LinkedIn, please do. I'm Beth Hedger on LinkedIn. You can also email me at bhedger@thinkampersand.com. And of course, you can go to our website, thinkampersand.com, and reach out to myself or others on our team. We're here to help you find ways to win-win and actualize your ambition. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.